Hi, everyone, and thanks for being with me. I feel a little bit disappointed in myself that I haven't been able to post as often as I would like over the last couple of weeks, but now I'm back, and hopefully, we'll upgrade you on the latest political and progressive news that you could possibly ever wish for. So, bear with me and join in that rocky ride we know as progressive politics as we try and take apart the crap that we seem to get issued and thrown at us from the right. Of course, there's been a lot of stuff at the moment talked about in relation to the budget. I want to have a look at one of my favourite channels, that is Sky News, talking about the way they view Donald Trump, and particularly, I guess, in this particular instance, how they view Joe Biden, and how, for whatever reason, they seem to think of Trump as being the all-encompassing panacea for everything that is wrong with with the United States, and they seem to equate a lot of that with the Labor Party and the Progressives, particularly in Australia. So they dislike the Labor Party, but they certainly hate the Greens and the Teals even more. So, but they come with an interesting perspective that I at least like to call out on my channel, because someone has to. And I guess sometimes I feel like I'm the lone voice in relation to some of this stuff. There are others, such as Michael West and others, but I particularly really like to have the challenge about trying to work out what it is that they're thinking and decoding, if you like, some of the crap that comes out from the right-wing media. And the particular issue I want to have a look at today is the way they look at Donald Trump, and particularly Biden, and some of the contradictions that sit around this. And it's been evident for many years that Donald Trump is a racist, is a pig, to say the least, that is a most revolting human being. And I can't understand, and I still struggle with this, I must confess, how reasonable, intelligent people can see him as an alternative, and that what he offers is going to change or benefit anybody for that matter, let alone the United States. So I'm going to play a snippet here from the Insiders where they hammer Biden as being a racist. And I found this particularly interesting, primarily because even though in the past there might have been some things he said that were dubious, to say the least, I think the same thing could be said about Trump. However, they don't mention that or focus on it. So this is where I think the right wing, particularly, I know there are some people who watch my channel who don't like me using the word right wing, but the dickheads on that side of politics, they tend to want to divide us. They want to make sure that every one of us sees either black or white, and that whatever the shade is that sits in the middle, we don't recognise that. Because people like these guys that I'm about to introduce to you again definitely sit on the racist side of the spectrum. And it's noticeable that not all of them, incidentally, what we could say are Anglo-Saxon Caucasians. Actually, one of them isn't. So let me know what you think on the other side. And just remember to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, do all the things that you need to do to have a go at me. That's quite okay. I often look forward to it. So please do so. So the first clip is the one of insiders and outsiders. I apologise. And the things that they say are, I think, inaccurate, that they're not telling the story, the whole story, they're telling part of a story. And they're certainly telling the narrative that they think is important in order to support Donald Trump, for reasons that I do not understand. But nevertheless, that's their perspective.
Oh, you're watching Outsiders. I'm James Morrow here, as always, with Rowan Dean and Rita Panahi. And, you know, one of the great evils of so called progressive politics, whether it is the Labour Party in Australia or the Democrats in America, is that they treat everyone, particularly members of minority groups, not as individuals, but as members of a tribe, and say that you have to vote for us because we will protect your group interests.
I just
rather
love
than trying to
I love this notion about tribalism. There is nothing more evident in our society and the United States than the fact that the the cult that has settled around Donald Trump is about as tribal as you can get. Yet they're accusing, so they're using, you've got to be careful when you're decoding this stuff because they're using language which some of us would use to describe them. They're using that to describe those people that are progressive. And I like the way that they referred to it fascinates me that they would use the word progressive to describe the Labor Party, because I think in some ways the Labor Party are far from progressive enough. The Greens are more progressive, and the Tills kind of sit between, I think, the Labor Party and the Greens. And yet, in some places, particularly, are quite liberal. So we need to see what they're doing and recognise it as them trying to recapture the narrative around, in this particular instance, that is, with regard to cult and tribe. So they are basically the tribe.
your group interests rather than trying to compete for every individual's vote as an individual. And it looks like that may finally be starting to crumble, though, in the United States, where black voters, like voters of all sorts of other descriptors, appear to be abandoning Joe Biden as the complete shambling train wreck of a presidency that he is.
And just on that train wreck issue, again, this is about them failing to present the facts. Unemployment is down in the United States. People are getting paid more than they have been in the past, which is a credit to the US and credit to the Biden administration. The stock exchange has now reached record levels, places where it's never been before. Inflation has come down. Petrol prices have come down. And he's got this massive infrastructure program that even the Republicans are celebrating because it benefits their particular constituents. So much has happened in the United States, even though they have a hostile Congress, the lower house in particular, House of Reps. They are still, Biden has, for whatever reason, and to me it's kind of like a modern mystery or a modern miracle, I should say, that has made significant changes in the US that have benefited most people. However, these dudes will not celebrate that, will never ever talk about it. And sometimes you see even Fox News falling over themselves as they have to declare that the stock exchange has now reached its highest level ever, and that is the result of the Biden administration. They are almost throwing up in their own vomit in relation to all of that. But on this side, this is the Murdoch press side, the Liberal Party network, you never see any of that.
Don't take my word for it. Here's CNN.
Look at this number for Donald Trump, 22%. Where was Donald Trump at this point 4 years ago in the polls? He was just at 9% of the vote. So he's seen more than a doubling in his support among African Americans. This margin, which was in the 70s just 4 years ago, look at where it is now, 69 minus 22. That puts it in the 40s. My goodness gracious. If this held through the general election, obviously we're still months away, this would be by far the best performance for a Republican candidate among black voters in a generation, 2 generations, probably since 1960.
Well, this has got Biden's handlers in an absolute panic now, as you'd imagine, and they've rushed the president out on what else? A great big pandering tour to try and stem the bleeding. This has included stops at the National Museum of African American History and Culture, a speech to an NAACP dinner in Detroit, and graduation addresses at Morehouse College, which is known colloquially as a historically black college or university, aka an HBCU. How did the president go there, by the way, getting through that little acronym?
This investment helps HBCUs do everything from build student housing to study climate science, to create health research labs, prepare black students for labs and industries of the future.
Yes, yes, the good old HBGs uses, or whatever he was trying to say there. That was Biden, by the way, speaking to the NAACP, which, guess what? He's always been supportive of.
My name's Joe Biden, and I'm a lifetime member of the NAACP.
Well, yeah, sure, okay. And, obviously, the whole speech was filled with a few minutes of typical word salad.
That's why my administration is taking the most significant action, notwithstanding the Supreme Court tried to stop me, to provide student debt relief, most supreme ever.
Most supreme ever, followed by, of course, the obligatory, where am I going to get off the stage?
So we have a range of these gaffes that Biden seems to be lumbered with, and certainly he has plenty of those. I'm not a great Biden fan. I just want people to know that. I'm just trying to draw the comparison between where these dudes sit in relation to Biden versus Trump. Now, later on in this waffle they carry on with, you can certainly look it up yourself. You'll see they attack him as being racist. Hence the reason they think that this massive turnaround has occurred. Now, I haven't verified that. I don't know where it's necessarily come from, but apparently we'll take it for what it's worth. They're quoting CNN on this occasion because that fits also their narrative. But we'll assume that for whatever reason, these figures are correct. They've gone from 9% to 22%. It is noticeable that Trump had a long way to come back from in terms of the black vote to get 22. I think the figures showed that Biden was at 69%. But then they move into the fact that Biden is racist and carry on with that for a while. And what I wanted to do was show you a counter clip which highlights who the other candidate is. Now, they never, ever mention these issues around Trump. And so I just wanted to highlight a clip that does just that, and here it is.
Well-educated black.
Puerto Rico.
These are animals.
Oh, look at my African American over here.
When he talks that way, the way he did on this tape, it confirmed that he is truly a racist.
A well-educated black has a tremendous advantage over a well-educated white. A black may think that they don't really have the advantage. If I was starting off today, I would love to be a well-educated black.
They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians.
It would be 9 blacks against 9 whites, all highly educated, very smart, strong, beautiful people, right?
Pocahontas? Is it offensive? I'm sorry about that. Pocahontas? I think she's as Native American as I am, okay? When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. I want surveillance of certain mosques. Negotiating with China. They say, we want deal. I'm asking for the vote of every single African American citizen in this country. What do you have to lose? You're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs. 58% of your youth is unemployed. What the hell do you have to lose?
Oh, look at my African American over here.
And that's who Trump is. And I can't understand why any black or African American or Asian person or a Muslim in particular or someone from the Middle East would even think of voting for Donald Trump. But apparently people do. But this is the side of the story that never gets told on the other side of the media, on this right-wing, non-progressive side of politics. For some reason, Sky News tend to want to not identify the failings of this man. And there are plenty of them. He's misogynist, he's a rapist, he's a fraudster, he's a con man, he's everything that the Christian right in particular would find abhorrent. But for whatever reason, they don't. they do support him. It's one of the mysteries of my lifetime. And that if he gets elected on November the 5th this year, then all hell will break loose. If he loses, all hell will break loose. And I think we're in for a pretty rough ride right around the world if he wins. So let me know what you think in the comment sections below. I'd be delighted to hear from you. I'm sure there'll be many of you who disagree with me, but that's fine. And, I'll try to make some more of these videos that you can criticize over this coming week. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, keep you and the people that you love safe.